One of the things that makes me dangerous in the eyes of staff is that I have time and I like to read reports. That causes difficulty for staff. And so when I took a look at this report, I said, well, how much more is coming in bag tag revenue? And as you can see, while the deficit's increasing, or the levy's decreasing some 10%, in 2014, the bag tag revenue is going up some 20%, and by the time you get to 2020, the bag tag revenue is going up 35%. And as you can see, and so I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so you're saying to me, my taxes are going to go down 460, but I'm going to be paying 853 more in bag tag. Aren't they the same people that are paying that? And what's happening with that extra 400,000, as you can see, it's now sitting in a reserve account at the county. Deja vu. I'm seeing the same thing I saw with water, wastewater, I'm seeing here. And so again, the question will be, first of all, on the bag tag, but the object of the exercise is to provide service. It's not to build up reserves accounts in the, whether at the city or at the county or at the province. You know, that money is better stayed in the hands of the consumer. That we have to control spending. It's not like, oh goody, look at that Cisco money coming in, what can we spend it on? They understand the need to have the importance of having controls on spending. Because that's where I think that's where I think certainly at my experience at the federal and the provincial level is that's when they get in trouble, is when they balance the budget. But they balance, the revenues go up and their expenses go up. And so it's balanced, but then when the economy turns, the revenues aren't there. So it's really important to have the control of spending.
I still have people who come up to me and say we're going to be 100,000 people within 5 years, and obviously that's not the case. We're looking at being about 50,000, a little over 50,000 by 2031. The one thing that, in terms of stats, is we're probably welcoming 20 to 30 new people a week into our community that are new immigrants to the community. Couldn't do this presentation without talking about the hospital, a major piece in terms of the economic development portfolio, because we want to be able to talk to people about lifestyle, about the fact that we have opportunities here for healthcare that are probably better than many larger communities. And so that was you know, when people were looking at the community, they saw the hospital on Wellington Street before, saw it as an older facility. Now they see this facility and it puts Woodstock just on a much higher level than we used to be.
Working with the Upper Thames, the water coming, leaving the Sweeburg Swamp is the cleanest water. You can go out to the swamp and drink it out of a cup, but by the time it works its way to Southside Pond, through Southside Pond, down Cedar Creek and joins the Thames River at the west side of town, it's now the dirtiest water in the Upper Thames watershed. Part of the problem is the pond, which hasn't been dredged. And so city staff would, you know, under kind of the old way of thinking, they would go in and say, well, we've got to dredge the pond. They would dredge the pond and then sit and wonder, what do I do next? Well, we've laid out with them, we've laid out a plan that says, okay, there's things that we have to do, a forebay, we have to reconstruct, and so there's now a program of basically 3 phases. So now staff at Public Works, they now know what they have to do, they know how they have to work with Upper Thames, and it's a 3-year project. Now, the only thing they have to wait for is how much money will council provide them. And if times get tough and we have to stretch the project over 4 or 5 years, it gets moved over 4 or 5 years. But at least staff is aware of what the end game is. And so with these projects,